Yo, yo, yo. Quick trade recap today. It was a one and done kind of day. Had to dip out. Yeah, solid trade overall, to be honest. Didn't expect to trade right at open, but the setup was there. All right, so going into the open, what did I see? Going into today, we did have a new week opening gap, which is basically just a gap from Friday's close to Sunday's open. Usually, price usually opens up next to each other like this, right? But over the weekend, sometimes price jumps up. So during those times, we kind of expect that price eventually is gonna refill those areas. But honestly, we were in such an uptrend, even on the 4 hour, that I kind of thought that okay, maybe we can target all time highs, and then eventually this will get filled. We are also respecting this 4 hour bullish gap right here. I didn't draw it out just because I don't like seeing it. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking this in my head, where I'm seeing that its price is respecting this 4 hour gap, because what is it doing? It drops down, but does not close below this halfway point, right? Gaps are usually respected when they stay above the halfway area of the gap. It's just a rule of thumb. So yeah, I'm seeing that at open we are respecting this 4 hour gap. So what am I doing? The overall trend is bullish. I'm gonna be looking for longs with a target at all-time highs and equal highs. Equal highs is basically just stacked highs that are like barely close to each other. It might as well just be one line, but equal highs are really strong draw liquidity. What else? 1 hour. On the 1 hour, we're also respecting a gap right here. So that's something to keep in mind. What else did I see going into the open? 15-minute gap. Yeah, I marked out this 15-minute gap right here. 15-minute fair value gap. And yeah, honestly, I was just super bullish going into the open, just because yeah, overall trend was bullish. I don't want to be fading this trend. So what happens at market open? We drop down, and then right here, it was at 6:35 was when I saw that okay, London or ES took out London lows, meaning it's just London session lows. Whereas on NQ, you kind of see that it's kind of different, right? So on ES, we're already sweeping these lows, but on NQ, we're still trading way above here. That means that right now we have a bullish SMT with ES. So whenever this happens, whenever one asset takes another one out before the one you're trading, and added with that trend that it's bullish, it's usually telling us that okay, that this trend is bullish, and that this doesn't need to drop down lower before going higher. Basically, SMT counts as our manipulation. So now that I'm seeing that okay, I'm bullish, we took out London lows on ES, and let's see if it's still trending up, right? So what does it do? After this candle closes, I kind of see that there's a 5-minute gap that opens up, right? Right away, when this opens up, London, we already see that ES took London's. So at this point, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going to be bullish now. So I literally entered on the candle right after this closed, targeting a 101. Yes, technically your target should be down here, but why did I keep it as 101? Because this move was so strong, I kind of didn't expect for price to even retrace this far down anyways, and I was risking a 101 with the quick draw on liquidity, with a quick scalp. I mean that I honestly let discretion. It was honestly discretion, but yeah, the technicals are there, or we get a manipulation, and then we get the highest time inverse. So I was pretty confident in this trade. Yeah, so what happened? I think we immediately just take that out. And also, before taking this out, I was just watching on the 30-second to see what would happen, right? So I drew out this. Or let me go back. So what happens? When this candle is done printing, we get an open 5-minute gap right here, right? That's why I drew it out. 5-minute fair value gap. So when price tapped back into this 5 minute fair value gap, I kind of want to see a continuation long, right? So as I'm flipping the time frames, I'm looking for the manipulation leg that taps into my key level, and we kind of don't have one on the 1 minute. We do have one on the 1 minute. We also have one on the 30-second, which is super clean right here. Yeah, right here. We get this inverse on the 30-minute or 30-second. And at this point, I'm like even more confident that this trade is going to hit all-time high, you know? It's not necessary to be dropping down to these time frames. I know that, you know, whatever time frame that you found it on is the time frame that you should be trading on. But since, you know, we were already super close to it, I was just looking just to confirm my bias. You know, I was ready to risk it. I was ready to take the loss here anyways if it had rejected this area. But either way, I just wanted to see, you know, to prove myself even further along the trade, you know, to have more confluences. So yeah, we got a 30-second inverse right here. And then I think this trade just immediately just jumps up. Yeah, right here. Yep, I got TP'd right there for a good 1-to-1. Solid trade overall. I didn't have a break even just because, you know, the TP was already super close. But I was planning on trailing, as I alerted in the Discord. I was planning on trailing my stops at all-time high, but I think I was trailing too tightly on the higher time frame that I think it just wicked me out. Yeah, right there. And then you can see it just eventually trades up higher for like, what, 200? Yeah, crazy, 500 more points, which is absolutely insane. That's what happens when you're trading all-time high, though. You know, you kind of don't really have targets. It's mainly just, you know, I know there's like standard deviations and stuff like that, but I don't want to get into all that. Just know that if it's at all-time high, the only target you really have is just higher, you know, unless you've proven wrong. But in this case, you know, the lowest hanging fruit was all-time high. Yeah, what else? Nope, that's it. All right, I'll catch you guys tomorrow.